Hello, and welcome to First 7-Inch Club, episode 205. First 7-Inch Club is a podcast where we dig up 7 inches from the past within the realms of hardcore, punk, and metal, and discuss whether or not they're worth being remembered. We'll also provide facts and trivia that we get from the internet and our own personal experiences. Not many personal experiences going on with this one. We do our own research on the show, so sometimes things are wrong. There wasn't really much to get wrong, I think, this time around, but we'll see. I am Mike, and with me is Scott.
Mike, wasn't going to talk about this because, I think some of our listeners probably look up to us as role models. Some of our fellow 55 and 70-year-olds. But I wish to be counted among the numbers of hardcore leftists who have lost their jobs in the wake of Charlie Kirk.
Oh, my God.
I don't know which one of you motherfuckers dropped the dime on me, but I'm out in my ass now. I just spent $22K on a roof repair, and I'm out of my ass. So thanks a lot for that. On paper, it was a layoff for financial reasons. So, nothing for me, but I think it was you guys. I think it was one of you haters out there.
So now's the time as any to get to that Patreon, because it's Scott's only source of income for now. So this
is desperate. If you can get us another 10 to 12,000 listeners, especially Patreon, like deep pocket, right wing, still well employed right wingers, who aren't going to get fired for this.
We'll make a new tier. What's it called when you're you sink money into politics?
Oh, PAC.
Yeah.
Form a super PAC.
We'll get the super PAC tier for 7-Inch Club.
Yeah, it's not like I want to work. So if you guys will support us, that'd be great. But so I'm going to float for a little while. This is my first week in 11 years where I don't know the date, because I don't have to wake up every day and spam 80,000 people with like an email every morning. So I don't know what the date is. It's great. It's so cool. I don't have to schedule anything today. So I can't truly relax because this is a Patreon week, and tomorrow night I'm recording my episode of 95 to Life. So I don't know. Ooh. I think he's months. I think his system is, I don't understand it. So I may not be on until next year. I have no idea. But I'm recording it tomorrow. And I take podcasting very seriously. So this has been maximum stress for me. Being out of my ass and also having to prepare for 3 quality podcasts in the course of a couple of days. So I have a little bit of downtime because I'm unemployed, put my feet up in the desk, do a little scrolling. And I found two of the boundaries of social media comment sections, mostly comment sections, Mike, that I want to talk about. I want to share my findings. These aren't really, this is really dumb shit. The first one's really dumb. The second one I think you're going to like. This is my report of the week about social media. So first I discovered a supremely annoying influencer named Natalie Reynolds. I don't know. Is she a household name to anybody?
I have no idea. No.
Okay. I have no idea who she is, but I've seen one video of hers, a format of her video over and over. It's one of those things that you just hit, but if you're just scrolling randomly.
Yeah.
She's one of those people who just gets thrown in there. So she's this skinny blonde lady. She runs up to like a big mirror in a store wearing pants with one leg cut off and an ankle monitor. And she's wearing like horn rim glasses. She just looks like a Waterford meth mom kind of, like she comes running in, and like you'll hear an employee go, "Ma'am, you can't be in here." And she'll say something like, "Shut up, I'm famous," or "Shut up, I'm a celebrity." And then sticks her phone on the mirror and starts doing like some dance. It's super low grade. It is garbage and it sucks. But she makes the same video maybe twice a day. She just, that's how they do it now. They just keep putting up the same format over and over. Yeah. She's been doing this for at least weeks, if not months, because I've seen it for a while. And what's amazing to me is that the people in the comments have developed their own culture. They're a separate culture from us. They have their own rituals. They have their own shit going on. And it's on every single one of her posts. Even like the normal posts where she's just hanging out with friends and like showing what they eat in a day or like whatever. Every one of them has people who show up to say, the first post on every one of her things will say, "Make him famous or marry her," with some random weird image of like a character or a Pokemon, just a random thing. They'll say, "Make him famous or marry." I don't know what that means, but it's on every single post. And then the next post will always be, this is long. "For people who don't know, Natalie Reynolds dared a homeless woman to jump in the water for $20. The homeless woman can't swim. The homeless woman was shouting, 'I can't swim, I can't swim.' But instead of Natalie coming to help, she ran away laughing with her friends. Hope this is a better understanding." Every single post. Those are the first 2. And it's different users every time. Yeah. So it's like they just know to do this, and it's without fail. And then the rest of the posts will all be arguing about whether she's famous or not. because they always starts off saying, I'm a celebrity, shut up. And so they argue, is she a celebrity with 2 million followers? Does this count? Is she actually a celebrity? Does this count as famous? So who the fuck are these people that are waiting for a new Natalie post every day to keep this flame burning? Like I don't see new posts from people I follow. I have to go looking for that stuff. So these people are so keyed in on the Natalie Reynolds pipeline that they know the minute a new post comes out and they get to be the first one to post that, like, make him famous or it's bizarre. They have a lot going on in this comment section, but on the much more like beautiful and elaborate and intriguing side of the internet, I found an account named Central Oregon Fishing. Have you ever heard of this?
I don't think so.
Okay, this channel is incredible. So you know how like there's a thing about how like guys on dating apps only use pictures of themselves fishing because that's the only cool photo they have.
Yeah,
they're like maybe hunting in some places, but like it's really common that. I guess if women are on a dating app and they're scrolling, all the guys are posting fishing photos now. And so there's a guy who posts this Central Oregon Fishing, and he catfishes those dudes. And he gets them to chat. And all he does is he talks to them and like leads them on, I don't know how far. I don't know if they've ever revealed how far he goes with them, but he gets them talking and he gets them to talk about fishing. And then he gets them to reveal their favorite secret fishing spots. And then he goes to their spots and reveals it. And then reviews it, and he fishes and reviews it, and then he posts about it. So, and the first one I clicked on was him fishing for catfish. He's like, I realize I've been doing this for months now, and I've been catfishing these guys. I never caught a catfish, so we're gonna go to this spot. We're gonna catch a couple catfish, and catfish are nocturnal.
Yeah,
and he didn't have night vision set up. So when the actual catfishing part happens, he animates it in like pixel art, like Prince of Persia. So it goes into this like pixelated. It's awesome, and he cold opens every video with just some random like he just grabs like a 90s cartoon that he thinks is vibe setting and sticks it in the beginning. So you might not even know that you're looking at one of his videos. So he just risks his audience just scrolling. He completely pisses away probably half his audience every single day. Doesn't care. This is great. This is why I'm on the internet, Mike, for people like this. This is an amazing project that he shoots himself in the foot, but is also doing something amazing, basically in the service of a pun. He just thought it would be funny to fish on these, whatever. I love this thing. So everyone should check out Central Oregon Fishing if you get a chance. I don't know if the content is going to keep you going. Like I said, it's a pun. Like once you get the joke, maybe then it depends on if you like to watch a guy fishing or not. So that's up to you.
I think the first one is kind of like how everybody knows to comment on Tony the Greaser's comments asking for a hog reveal. So every first comment's always like, when's the hog reveal? So yeah, I think people just know. And also because I had to unfollow Tony the Greaser because it's just like, I'm not gonna support this dipshit in any way by giving him like a single follow because he's such a fucking moron. Yeah. But it'll still show up and suggested because that's how it works when you're trying really hard to be an influencer. And I'll always click to see the comments. And usually 9 times out of 10, all the comments are from people who don't even follow up. They just get it in suggested thing like everybody else. And that's why I think that's where all of the venomous comments come from, because it's just people who see these assholes every day and can't do anything about it, so they just leave horrible comments. So, and
there's enough of those people that a new argument can sprout up in every single post. Yeah, like that enough new people are there being angry. That's how many people there are in the world. That every new Tony the Greaser post can have a fresh argument.
Anyways, you can reach us at first7inchclub@gmail.com. Or you can go to our Instagram, as we were just talking about, at First 7-Inch Club. It's all letters. You can DM us there. It's probably going to get to you a little quicker. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/First 7-Inch Club. If Scott's unemployment is not enough to get you to subscribe, and if a couple new episodes every month and a shout out once a month is not enough to get you to subscribe, I also might be ass out of a job soon too. I don't think so. I think it's like 50-50. I think I'm being positive about this. I don't think I'll be ass out of a job, but there's definitely a chance there. So I looked at the work schedule, at the project schedule today, and I think I'm covered until at least November. So I don't think But whoever knows? So you might have to have 2 destitute podcasters on your hands soon. So
call up twilight years. We're gonna be the cat food in the can people.
Yeah,
it's gonna be us.
So cough up those $2, or we're gonna have to sell the podcasting equipment to make ends meet.
I can't stop spending either.
Yeah,
like this is how I have set a standard for my life that I'm not willing to compromise on. So I need you to dig deep. Won't you help?
Yeah.
Won't you help?
Yes. It's my birthday coming up. I just bought myself a Steam Deck. Those things aren't cheap.
God, yeah.
Now I need that money back, guys. You got to go to the Patreon.
Yeah.
I think we're the only people. I don't know if we're the only people, but we're definitely one of the only people who don't really take the Patreon side of things very seriously.
No, you would think so, but like I have friends who I'll bitch at about the Patreon because it's a lot of work for me. It's like a lot of work because it's one episode is a bunch of work. 2 episodes is like an extra whole day or so of work. And I've had several people say, "Do you know that all the Patreons that I subscribe to don't give people anything? They just don't. You just get the satisfaction of supporting someone you like. So you guys are doing too much work. So think about us. Mike's going to be unemployed at Christmas, guys.
Yeah,
he's going to be fucked."
What am I going to do? I have 17 children, and I'm going to have to. What am I going to do for them? I'm going to have to give them like sticks for Christmas.
Each one gets 1 Necco wafer from the Necco wafer roll.
So you gotta kick in there.
Yeah.
But no, we're joking around. I mean, hopefully. I mean, I don't think Scott's joking around about unemployment, and I am not either. But I'm really optimistic that I won't be shit canned. We'll see. Yeah, Patreon. We're recording a Patreon tonight. We're going to be talking about Inside Straight Edge from National Geographic Channel from 2008, which there was a show back in those days called Inside, which we'll talk about in the thing. But this is I mean, I don't know. I haven't, I'm not a straight edge historian or anything, but this is pretty late in the game to be doing exposés on straight edge. So I was very interested in doing this. So hear what we have to say about this little hour-long documentary on National Geographic. Anyways, the only other thing I have to talk about is that I went to a baseball game last. Sorry, I'm trying to update the Patreon to release it to the $2 subscribers, but I don't know where there it is, the publish. Okay, there we go.
Yeah, they keep changing the UI. Yeah. That's another reason we need money, is because just learning the UI takes us all day.
How do people? Why is Patreon fiddling with this? Like, who is complaining? Like, oh, that's too easy. Can you change where the publish button is every other week?
Yeah,
that's better. I need to keep me on my toes, Patreon. Keep changing where that publish button is. That's really important. So hopefully I just released it to everybody, but we'll see. But anyways, I went to a baseball last week, and this is punk adjacent. Don't worry. Cubs, Mets. If you're following baseball, they had 6 games to make it to the playoffs, and they blew it in the last game yesterday. So, but I went to the first game in the 6-game stretch, and they won, and that doesn't matter. But this is the first baseball game I went to early, I think, ever. Like, I don't think I've ever been to a baseball game and not like tailgating, like in the stadium early. And it was very early. And I know they do a first pitch, obviously. I know that. But I guess there's like a I don't know if this is a Cubs thing or everybody does this, but there's like a ton of ceremonial first pitches. Like, they just have like a whole parade of ding dongs coming out, throwing out first pitches to the mascot. And it's just like, what? Why? Like, who is this benefiting? And one of the last ones, I think it was the last one, and it was like coming up next, they just played Riot Fest. Punk band Knocked Loose, and and Knocked Loose comes up, and they're all in their personalized Cubs jerseys, and one of them throws out a pitch, and that's it, and they walk off. Then I was like, wow, Knocked Loose throw out the first pitch of a baseball game? That's pretty crazy. It turns out the real first pitch that they actually film was Green Day, so a little more punk, obviously, but.
Did you see Green Day make the pitch?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I wish all three of them threw the ball like the Savannah Bananas or something like that.
Yeah.
Line.
I wish they did too. And usually first pitch person, the Cubs always do seventh inning stretch, take me out to the ball game. Usually first pitch person sings that. Yeah. And I guess Green Day is not singing for free. So what's that guy? John Mulaney. John Mulaney, sorry, did it instead, who I think is from Chicago, so it's whatever. But anyways, what I was getting at is, where did we go wrong, Scott? Where did we go from, punk shows and basements to throwing out the first pitch at a baseball game? That is an insane trajectory for punk music. And I feel cheated and I feel ripped off. That could have been us. We could have practiced a little more. We could have been throwing out first pitches.
Who was the first festival ready Taco Bell band?
I don't think it was a band. I think it was just like, the convenience of the internet and being able to find the stuff easily and algorithms and stuff like that. I mean, obviously, I think Turnstile is the one that kind of made it okay for everybody to do it. So,
well, they make sense. Like Code Orange, I'm gonna probably give it to Code Orange. I feel like Code Orange was the first one because they got their Grammy. Or did they get a Grammy or did they just get nominated?
Knocked Loose was nominated for a Grammy too. They said Grammy nominated. So okay. But I think they were after Code Orange. Yeah. I think Code Orange won. I can't remember now.
Code Orange was putting out billboards and stuff, and then they went out and bought like vinyl pants immediately to rise to the occasion. But I think that they miscalculated. I think that they overestimated how many people wanted like Rammstein style Nine Inch Nails-isms in their day, and whatever the lady was doing with her like pop band, and Turnstile calculated it correctly. Somebody, if you're gonna make that breakthrough, whatever you put out should be kind of good. Yeah. And I think like they are still kind of good. Like you maybe you don't think it's hardcore anymore. That's your business, but that album's fine.
I don't think you have to be good anymore. Like that Skell record's not that good.
Yeah, but they didn't make it though. Like they pissed it away because they put out that record and they were on late night shows, and then everyone's like, "Oh, this sucks."
Yeah, they had all the reviews, all the good reviews too, and it didn't work.
Yeah. No.
Flesh Order's up next now. They sucked from day one, but they like, I think even in their realm of suckiness, they suck even more now. And people are like, "Oh my god, this is so good." And it's just like, why are we letting this happen? This sucks. This sucks. Fucking sucks.
I was hoping it was going to work for MS Paint because they're a little bit more on the spectrum, and they could have brought like a refreshing, basement edge to things.
Yeah, I think that, like I brought this up in the show, but when I saw him a couple years ago, I told the dude, like the guy who plays the keyboard, I think, or maybe he was a guitarist, and I was like, "Yeah, I just want to catch you guys before you're a little too popular for me to go to your shows." And he was just like, "I don't think that's going to happen, man." And I was like, "Okay, buddy, we'll see." And I guess he was right. I mean, they do play bigger shows now, but it's not like what I expected. But they still got time. We'll see. Another where did we go wrong from the same baseball game is I went to that baseball game in the week before. I went to a different Cubs game, and Nar Chief in the Discord, a personal friend, a real life friend, was busting my balls and calling me Rich Mike because I could afford to go to 2 baseball games.
Yeah,
it's not that much money. Like I know, like football's a lot of money because they only play 17 games. Baseball games, they play 7,000 games, so it's not super expensive. My decent seats, to which I would like, I guess it depends on who you are. I call them decent. I think other people would say they were good seats. They're like $35, and this is for an important game. It's during the week, so it's like less appealing, but it's still an important game with 2 big market teams. It's $35. So where did we go wrong? Where I can see a team of millionaires play each other cheaper than I can go to a hardcore show. Like, how did that happen? How's it cheaper to see a major league baseball game in good seats, not cheap ones? I'm not with the riffraff up in the rafters in the 400s getting fleas and bed bugs. I'm down there with the real people. I'm wheeling and dealing with people who wear collared shirts, and it's cheaper than going to a hardcore show now. Like, how the fuck did that happen?
Because they don't let hardcore bands sell giant $42 baseball bats of beer and like a $19 sundae and all that kind of stuff. Like if you started doing concessions at a hardcore show, money, but that's gonna be great. The show's gonna be $5, just Fugazi style.
I guess that's what I got. I got an open venue. Be like, hey, but it's $5 to get in. That beer is going to cost you $24, though. That's
and it could still be in a bat. That's thematic. That's still appropriate to hardcore. If you sell people a bat of beer.
Yeah. Turnstile again, charging like $60 for t-shirts though. But I think they're not playing shows no more. They're playing concerts. So that's the price you pay for going to a concert. I personally, I mean, I like those records. Even the last one, I think it's pretty good. I would never go see them. That is that is ridiculous. No. Like you're kind of a fool if you do stuff like that now. Just this is for children who like have only heard, like, this is like when I started getting into hardcore when I was a tiny teen, and everybody else into my school that was like alternative was in the Green Day. They're the new Green Day now. You know, the same first pitch Green Day from the Cubs game. You don't want to be like an actual person who considers yourself hardcore and going to Turnstile shows. Like you got to grow up, or not even grow up because you're too old. But like that's the problem. You gotta let your children go to the Turnstile shows, and you got to just sit back and sit that one out.
And the Turnstile pit is bringing like a new range of dangers. Yeah, because it's like there's too many norms in there, and they don't know how to behave, and if they see a boob in the pit, they're grabbing at it out there.
That's how it was. I was in the hardcore for a couple of years, and Korn came out, and I'm not gonna lie, I like that first Korn record. I was still very well young enough to like both things and not think it's weird. Yeah. And I went to a Korn show when they were still small enough to play like venues that Turnstile was playing like 6 years ago. Like not even what Turnstile's playing now. Like even smaller venues. And it was just like bros and jocks, and like I was like, this is scary. I don't like this at all. Like this sucks. And that kind of like set me straight. I was like, I don't want to see anybody on MTV anymore, because the crowds they bring if you're on MTV is just bullshit. So yeah, that's another reason you should go see Turnstile.
Strangely enough, that's exactly how it was to be in a small time ska metal band in the 90s too. It's all the same crowd.
Anyways, we've gone on long enough. Before we get to what we need to talk about, I just want to shout out our friend at stateofmindrecordings.com. Stateofmindrecordings.com is a website on the internet. It's also a distro and a record label. They sell old records and new records, and old records that have become new records. And they sell them all for very cheap, as well as $5 flat rate domestic shipping. You could buy 30 records. It's still going to only set you back $5. So every week I like to feature a record they're selling that you could go look at and maybe buy, or go look at something else. But either way, if you're actively buying records on the internet, look on their website first, because you might find it cheaper, and you'll definitely save on the shipping in the long run. So go check out stateofmindrecordings.com. But this record, this is kind of a joke record. It is the Message Board Mayhem 7-inch from I don't know, this is from an awkward year like 2006 or something. I forgot to pull it up, but it's a tribute to the Bridge 9 message board. So so it's just a bunch of bands that I guess like had members that posted on the Bridge 9 board, and they all made a record. They got The Distance, which was a band from Connecticut that I sort of used to know the singer. Back when he was a small fry. I don't think he would talk to me anymore, but his band was briefly on Bridge 9, so I guess that's the connection. I think all the rest of the bands are kind of scrub bands, but I don't think there's anything you could buy brand new in 2025 that is more embarrassing than a tribute message board 7-inch from 20 years ago. So if you just want to throw away your money for $5.50, you can get this. But it's quite an artifact, though. I mean, we're at the time where you kind of have to explain message boards to people, so it's kind of a prized artifact in a way. So go check it out if you want a silly 7-inch at stateofmindrecordings.com.
I mean, I'm still happy to tell people that I wish we went back to message boards.
Oh, I do too, for sure.
The life I want. It's the life I miss. So today when I went to State of Mind, my whole top row was faces. It was like pop art. It was like just a row of faces, and they were kind of presented in sort of a reversal of the cycle of life. So the face one was a skull. It was a skull face, kind of, from a band named Ready for Death.
Oh, that's Artie Philly's band.
Is it?
In Chicago, yeah.
Yeah, it's all right. I was gonna say it's from Mike's hometown. These are hometown boys. I figured you might know who they were. If this is Artie Philly, he's doing a really good Chuck Schuldiner on this. This is kind of more grindy and grimy than what I associate with him with these days.
I think they also got. I think the other one I keep forgetting for their newer one, if they got actual Ed Repka or they got the guy who does stuff like Ed Repka. But yeah, he's definitely in that Chuck Schuldiner mindset for this.
This one is just dumb as hell. It's just a skull. Like, just put a straight skull on the cover, no angle, just looking at you. And then, and you know, stepping up from the skull, we have a bloody face as a bloody-eyed man, courtesy of, also related to Mike, Italy's own Awakened Demons. The write-up says that they've shared the stage with First Blood, Full-Blown Chaos, Agnostic Front, Sworn Enemy, Ringworm. And you're thinking, man, it's about to sound like that. It's going to sound like that. But no, this is like, I guess if you're in a heavy band in Italy, you have to open for everybody. But this just sounds like that really super produced, heavy, like angular, like Hydra head stuff. But I think they just made it. So they sound like, you know, 2002 or something like that. But now, and they have guest spots from Carl Crisis and Acacia Strain Vince, who I know Mike also. Yeah. So it really overlaps with Mike's lived experiences as an Italian. And then phase 3 is a smooth boy with a dirt stash. I don't know where Mike's at right now, but this is a smooth boy with a dirt stash, courtesy of the band Pet Brick, which is Igor Cavalera. I was gonna say Cavalera from Sepultura, engaging his digital hardcore roots, I guess. Boy. Roots, experimental IDM type stuff, and
God,
I don't know what sugared up 42-year-old needs this, but it's there. It's like, I don't know who it's aimed at. I don't know who needs it, but it's really weird. It's weirder than you think, because it's like he's not afraid to just let it actually go spacey for ages. So it's like a hardcore song, and then just like maybe 25 minutes of just astral projection, and it's some pretty ADHD stuff. You'll never remember this band exists. What you'll buy this Pet Brick, you're gonna put this back. If you buy it as a CD or whatever, it's a really cursed idea that Igor has had here. But yeah, this week check out the 3 faces of State of Mind at the top of my page.
Okay, I guess we can talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is the band Atomic Jefferson and their 7-inch Hell Is Real, aka Pest Control, from 1993 on Sound Unbound Limited. We were doing Atomic Jefferson because they are from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. Speaking of MS Paint, that's where MS Paint is from too. We are down to the nitty gritty. This is weird. I think we got 3 bands left to finish the country out, and it took me a long time to find Mississippi. It's like what I usually do is I just search 90s bands from like the state, and because I don't want to do like a band. I think Louisiana, I think that's like 2007 because I had no other choice, but I don't want to just do some band from like 2010 from that state because who fucking cares,
right?
I want to find something old, and so searching for that, it's all that pops up is Atomic Jefferson or one other band, and I can't remember the other band's name, but it was just like even more, it sounded even more like something we would hate. So I was like, Atomic Jefferson, that sounds like a weirdo band. But I can't express enough how much, if you search 90s Mississippi bands, all you'll find is people saying Atomic Jefferson was the band, like they were the band in Mississippi, blah blah blah. So when I chose this, I expected there to be a wealth of information about this band, and there's not, because no one fucking cares. It was just like, if you just ask anybody, that was the only band they could think of from Mississippi, from the 90s. It's also weird because they're, like I said, they're from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which is where MS Paint is from, and there's like a comp that came out a couple of years ago called like Big Wave, that is like, you know, a comp of all these bands from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I'm sure most of them share members, but it's still like a full, 20 band comp or something like that. And it's like, I have no fucking idea what Hattiesburg, Mississippi is, and why out of that whole entire state, the only punk comes from this one place, and it seemingly has been coming from this one place for 30 years now. That's very strange. But I believe, I swear to God, they made like a Hattiesburg, Mississippi documentary. It was on YouTube, and I couldn't find it. So maybe I imagined that, or maybe it got taken down, or maybe it's on Vimeo, and I didn't look on Vimeo or something. But either way, So I was expecting like a wealth of information about Atomic Jefferson. I couldn't really find it. The only thing that's even kind of interesting that I found is there's a newspaper article about them, for like a local Mississippi newspaper from 1999, and it's just about them and like a little profile on them. And throughout the profile, it keeps talking about them like they're just like old road dogs, like they've been doing this like the Rolling Stones for 50 years or something. They're only a band for 7 years at this point, and it's just like they've been a band for all these years and they don't plan on quitting or anything like that. And it's just like 7 years is not a long time to be a band, but this article really wanted to sell them. But yeah, I guess they're classified as a noise punk band. They didn't really release much. They had a couple LPs and the 7-inch, and technically one of the LPs, or I should say CDs, and the 7-inch are on a label, but I'm pretty sure the label is just them, so it's not really like this is all pretty much self-released. But I get the vibe either way that if you were in Mississippi in the 90s and you wanted to see anything resembling punk, that this is what you're gonna get was Atomic Jefferson. Actually, I think the other band, because I saw a flyer today, I think the other band was Grossest National Product, and that just sounds like some fucking pop punk shit. So I just got the Atomic Jefferson. So I was expecting like some real gem, but we'll get into music later. But I was expecting this gem, and like and that people from that area probably knew them, and I have no idea if anybody like under the age of 40 remembers these guys, but we're gonna do it anyways because they're slim pickings from Mississippi. I wouldn't know why. It seems to be a cultural enclave, Mississippi. Everybody loves that place. So not at all a terribly racist state or anything. It's not just full of racism to this day. I just watched a very depressing documentary, 30 for 30, about the Ole Miss team that was going on. Their college football team had an undefeated season the same year that the first, and up until this year, I guess 2020. I guess up until 2020 that America deployed troops on its own people, and that was in Mississippi. And the documentary is like 10 years old now, 15 years old. Yeah. And they're just like talking about like this ancient history, like this would never happen again. They would never deploy troops on their own people. Like this is just like just a black spot on America and stuff like that. And here we are again. Like it's happening again. But either way, they show like the documentary itself. I don't think it's called, though. I think it's Southern Mississippi. Yeah, Southern Mississippi University, and it's called like the Ghosts of Southern Mississippi. And they make it out like it's this big thing that this football team went undefeated. They're all the racists on the team. They're all the ones beating the black dude up. Like, it's like, why are we celebrating this? And they show them now, and now is like 2014 or 2013, whenever this was, and they show them at like the Southern Miss Parade for their undefeated season during this tumultuous time, and there's rebel flags all over the place. Still.
Great.
Like, it's never changed. Like,
awesome.
None of that's changed. So I have major disrespect for Mississippi. That's what I'm getting at. Major disrespect. I'm sure all these Hattiesburg people that do all this punk rock are super cool, but it seems like the rest of the state is a toilet. And so I just wanted to go on record saying that. Anyways, this was a 3-piece band. Bass and I guess vocals is Eddie Bo McCraney. I couldn't find jack shit on this dude. There's a guy his age that died like 10 years ago. It's not him though. He that did not sound like it was like a guy who went to church every day and stuff like that. I doubt that this dude. There's a younger dude named Bo McCraney that races cars. That's not him either. So I gave up. So did you find anything on this guy?
No, just that there's a little history for him, and maybe this even answers some things. Is that when he was in college, which was, I think it was the University of Southern Mississippi. He was in a band called Beagle Voyage. With a future mover and shaker of the band Wilco, Pat Sansone. He's like a major Wilco guy now. And I spent a lot of time Googling various versions of Eddie, Bo, Edward, Ed, McCraney. McCraney with no C, because sometimes it's McRaney. Nothing. So the only thing you find is stuff about Pat Sansone. And Pat has actually posted things about the band with different pictures of him and the other two guys. So he remembers this band and nobody else does. So I'm invoking my new peace of mind rule where I'm not gonna not gonna chase any further.
The guitarist was Rob Crowell. He's still on the internet. There's like a Hattiesburg, Mississippi hardcore music group, Facebook, and he occasionally posts in there. That's how I found him and his profile. Not much information personally, but it seems like he's still making music. No, crazy Trump is right kind of memes or anything, or Rip Charlie Kirk or anything like that on his timeline, at least publicly. So I hope he's still one of the good ones. But yeah, no fun information.
Yeah, he is a board certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner, which I'm only saying it that way because they actually abbreviate that. Like, so it says Robert Crowell and then BCPMB. Like that's how it goes by. He's in Birmingham, Alabama now. It seems like a great gig because all of his current posts are well-funded hobbies. He's got like a very tidy home studio that looks really nice. Yeah. And he's also got a murdered out Harley that he's pretty proud of. So I think he's doing pretty good.
The drummer was Patrick O'Connor.
That's not who I had. Maybe
I was going to say, because this guy fucked off like right after the 7-inch.
Oh, okay.
His name's Patrick O'Connor. That's impossible to find. He has a link on Discogs, but all of his credits are not him. The way Discogs works, if you guys don't know, if you enter a 7-inch or anything into Discogs and you want to fill out the lineup, you can't just manually do stuff. You just have to find the name and hope that's the right person. So whoever was filling out Patrick O'Connor for something else was like, oh, he's the Atomic Jefferson guy. Yeah. It's not true, because back when Discogs was designed, I assume they just thought there was one of every name and no one would ever have the same name as somebody else. So it's a fatal flaw in the Discogs design. But I didn't bother checking the other guy. So you can do. I knew they had a more long-term drummer. So what's that guy?
Yeah, the other guy is Darren Myers.
Yep.
Most of the search results about him are about he was in a cool band called Quit Hitting Me, and they also get some shine. Like, people will be like, oh, that band Quit Hitting Me. They talk about them a lot, and it's more like Devo post-punk, but they were also around for a while and did a lot of stuff. So most of his search results are music that he has published onto SoundCloud and stuff like that. And nowadays he is a manager at his local Habitat for Humanity restore thing. And I think he might have paused on the drums, but now he plays for the Lord, Mike. He is an avid churchman, very avid churchman, who plays a Telecaster bass in a rock and roll church in Florida now. That's where he's at.
Possible he's a good one.
Yeah,
possible. So
I'm not, Mr. Darren, if you find this, enjoy your life. I have no trouble, no qualms with you, but I have a lot of problems with the rock and roll mega churches. I know several people who do that kind of thing, and I have deep resentment toward the rock and roll church.
That's the band. The record label is Sound Unbound Limited, and there's nothing on them either because they only put out 2 Atomic Jefferson releases because they are the Atomic Jefferson. Yeah. So not much to report on that. Yeah, the label name just leads back to one of the sketchy people searches for Rob, because it was his address or something like that. So yeah, totally in-house. So now we can get this record onto a tray. Wait, my can! I gotta get my can. There we go. Okay. Got it. Perfect. Nice. So I should say up front that I don't know why, but for whatever reason, this record was released twice. Yep. Once as Hell Is Real and twice again as a Pest Control. I don't know why. Maybe one was like, they were like, oh, let's start a record label and put it on Sound Unbound Limited, and maybe the other one was like when they were first starting out. I don't really know. Either way, I have the Hell Is Real version. The other distinct difference outside of the layout being completely different is that for whatever reason they flipped the sides on the record for some reason on the different releases. So side A on one is side B on the other, and vice versa. I only mention that because I got the variant A Hell Is Real record with the variant B Pest Control record inside of it. So once again, one of the most important rules the things we figured out by doing the show is that all 90s punk bands, all they did was do stuff to fuck with us. So when somebody tried to do a deep dive podcast about them 30 to 40 years later. And they made it really confusing and upsetting for us. So we had a big debate on what side was what trying to do this. But I did it. Yeah, I did it the right way. Okay. Looking at it, maybe I fucked up. Maybe I'm the one who fucked up. Now looking at it, I don't know. Either way. So this is 1993. This is a band putting this out themselves, basically. So I didn't expect much. The cover, you get one of those super X-ray vision, super close-up pictures of a bug doing bug stuff on a surface that looks like a bunch of hairs. That's probably just a human being or something, because it's super microscope close-up. And it's the 90s, all right. It's all black and white. This is black and white photocopy. It says Atomic Jefferson in a real stock font from a 90s computer. It does have a nice stroke around it though, which I don't think that came with the stock. So I don't know how they might have to pay somebody to do that. The back cover is the atomic sign and a bunch of other bullshit under it. I can't even tell what's going. I think that's just another one of those super close-up, super-sized pictures of something more bug shit. Unfortunately, this is all black and white. So they put the titles or this track titles, and they fucked up. Okay, so I just want to make sure, because the track titles are. I got this the pest control record inside the other one. Yeah, that does make sense. Yeah, because they have Hell's Real listed as number 1 on here. But yeah, it's hard to read. It's illegible. It's tough. And the inside is just a little insert that they cut out themselves. One side is like an old timey drawing of a woman on a chair. Being scared of a mouse. It actually looks like a rat. And the rest looks like all hand-drawn, handwritten. Actually, I guess there's a little bug border going around it that they could have took that out of something.
Kind of clip arty. Looks a little clip arty to me. Very
old-timey clip arty. And they have real-ass phone numbers. They have a fax machine number on here, too, in case you want to fax them. No real info about the band. It doesn't say who's in it or anything, so that's cool. Recorded in Gulfport, Mississippi. The other side is just the lyrics and a little old Big Brother is watching you clip art.
Yep.
That people still said that back then. People would still say. My grandpa would say that all the time to me. He'd always say, "Big Brother is watching you." Mm-hmm. So he would have appreciated this record. I can't remember if he was dead by 1993 or not, but he would have got a kick out of it. But yeah, then it just has all the lyrics. It's just like. It's also on like a peach almost color paper, so that tells me that this was the cheapest paper they could find, and they just made inserts out of that. The label itself, the 2 labels on the record, just have more hand drawings of space and a rocket. It says Atomic Jefferson, and everything's handwritten, and the other side has like a Jetson style crude robot drawing on it with a ray gun. It's all very 90s and just very me looking at it. I would go, I don't want anything to do with this. Like this isn't gonna be anything I like. No. I'll say it's not probably like music wise. I don't think it really matches, but it's the 90s and people were just throwing shit out there, so it's whatever. It looks like a very 90s record, so I'm not gonna bust balls too hard.
Yeah, I think the last time we saw something like this was either Bad Case of the Gout or The Disenchanted.
Yeah.
Both Albany punk bands. So a lot of synergy between Hattiesburg, Mississippi and Albany, New York. But I love a good bug close-up. A couple of my favorite records have that it's a scanning electron microscope. The compound bug eye. It's beautiful. And you could actually find this exact image if you search for so I searched for electron microscope mosquito. You can find the exact same image in Google Images, which is weird.
Wow.
Usually, that's a weird one.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So
people have been using this exact image for...
we can't get another photo of a mosquito.
They added that once. This is the perfect shot of that mosquito. Yeah. We never need to do it again. That's amazing.
Yeah. The font they chose, and there's like a little kind of like Springfield Adams symbol next to the band name. It does none of that speaks of quality even for 1993. But I think they used a computer for this part, which is nice. The stroke and all that stuff. It lays nicely on the photo. So this must have been some high tech digital stuff. Somebody had a computer. The back is a little bit more dynamic. I think it's more bug stuff too, but also it looks like cactuses. It looks like giant cactuses. So I don't know. I don't really know what we're looking at. I was hoping I would also find that, but just scrolling through these mosquito photos. But it has a bunch of imagery slapped on top of it that kind of matches it. Like it kind of almost looks, like it's got a lot of outbound shapes kind of exploding out and then to this, big atom thing on top. And it kind of makes it look occult. It looks like, like some sort of occult imagery or something. And as proof, when I Google lensed it to see if Google knew what that picture was in the background, it just spat back a bunch of like kooky sacred geometry GIFs, like animated sacred geometry at me. So it also thought that this was pretty cult looking. The lyric sheet, it's got the 1984 Big Brother on it. That's chill. That's fine. Very punky lyric layout. Not much else going on there. And the back gives us a little dose of the alternate version, because the alternate version of this record is all like my buddy's a good drawer. Cartoons, including this exact image. This this whole side is part of the other layout, and it also that other whole layout basically leans heavily on beloved clip art. And this is like there was software that would give you clip art back in the day. There was like Print Shop Plus and stuff like that would have clip art built into it, and you could buy discs of clip art. But also for you young bucks, for you new jacks who don't know. Sometimes you also had to go to Borders and go to the clip art section and buy like a paper book that would have a bunch of clip art in it. And then it was like, it's like a gold mine. You're like, oh shit, I have old engravings of sewing machines I can use on all my punk flyers now. And you were made of money. But yeah, 1993 in clip art, it's like peanut butter and chocolate. It's perfect. And, the label itself has a space base as drawn by a 30-year-old pretending to be a 7-year-old. And the flip side is like a robot with the same genre, but he kind of looks like a robot Frankenberry, I like that. If you ever had a year in school where they let the good artist doodle all over the margins in the yearbook, you're familiar with the style. This looks like that. It's because it's not really countercultural. This is more like feel good, goofy, like random punk shit, and not even punk. It's fine. I wouldn't say it looks expensive. This doesn't look like a very expensive layout. This looks like they saved some money.
Also, I should mention, because I just realized that the left corner of the record is notched off. It's like hacked off, and I just assumed that maybe it was like a college radio copy or something like that. Mm-hmm. And now looking at the Discogs version also has that corner notched off. So
it's an element of style.
So they either did this to every single copy, either by accident or on purpose, or I own the Discogs copy now, which is also a very big possibility. So, but yeah, it's kind of weird that
half the names of one of the songs is in that notch, so you can't even figure out what the song title is.
Maybe that's how they save more money. I don't know. They're just like, just give us that shitty paper that you got back there to copy on at Kinko's. I don't know.
They recycled 10% of the paper before they sent it out.
We can get to the music now, and this is 4 tracks, and we are going to do the pest control order. The first track is called Your Skull Came Postage Due. So this is one of the few bands that I checked out before I bought the 7-inch because I was afraid, but because I would have searched further. I checked out like a later release. I think they might have some other releases that aren't on their Discogs, because I think the thing I listened to is not on their Discogs, and maybe I'm wrong though, but it sounded real weird and spacey, so I was like, okay, this is cool, this is fine. This doesn't sound exactly like that, but it's in this, I think it's in the same wheelhouse. The first thing you'll notice about this, it's very loud. It's incredibly loud. I noticed that while I was ripping it, where I never changed my settings because I'm too afraid to, and it was still like peaking, and I was just like, none of the records peak at the settings I have, and I was like, I can't do nothing about it, and you know, that shows like this is a loud record. You turn your stereo down as much as you want, and this is still very loud. So hats off to you for getting a very loud sound. Unfortunately, it's just like the rock and roll loud, just a wall of fuzz. Yeah. And it's not my favorite sound, that's for sure.
Yeah.
It's honestly like I walking around when I listen to stuff on my phone. I have Anchor headphones. I don't have the Apple earbuds. I back Anchor backed hard. I think they're a very good budget brand.
Yeah.
Not, it's not the greatest sound. This sounds like total shit, just fucking total dog shit in those. In my nice cheap studio headphones, it sounds a little better. Like you can actually make out stuff. Like it just doesn't sound like a giant wall of distortion. So definitely much more listenable if you have decent headphones. I do like that the vocals are barely audible, because it really sells the loudness of everything. I honestly don't know if that's on purpose or by necessity, but the vocals are just screamed in like a normal human voice, and they're very low in the mix.
Yeah.
And it is really hard to tell how much of the fuzz is on purpose and how much is just the recording, but I think either way they would have preferred that the record sounded like this. I think this is an artist's choice. I think they loved how this came out. But yeah, it's just fuzzy, loud punk rock and roll. Definitely not my favorite music on earth, but it's not my least favorite music either. But it was kind of like, oh boy. But for 1993 Mississippi, it's slim pickings, so decent, I guess.
Yeah. This puts us at a slight disadvantage. So I listened to it the other way, where Hell Is Real was the first track.
Yeah.
And I think in that case, it was kind of like it made a good layout for the record.
I agree. Yes.
And so when we listened to it the way I guess they intended, where your Skull Cane Posters do, is the first track. Huge disadvantage, because track 3 is the right time to drop your completely regular cock rock song, not track 1. So like with a little more budget, this song we're listening to now, this could have been like a Hives song or something,
Yeah.
And for them in that era, that it like if your noise band is mostly adventurous, but you have 1 or 2 songs that just whip ass, that's fine. Your dumb audience loves it. They're like, yeah, they get really into those songs that you don't even like that much, and all your artsy songs are like at the ass end of the catalog. But so this is kind of a pretty straightforward. It is noise rock because it is noisy and it's like blown out, and you can tell they kind of are doing like the full arm on the guitar, wah wah, just like hitting all the strings, and there's making a lot of noise and a lot of feedback. So it's got that noise rock sheen to it, but it's it's a pretty normal song. They made it a little crazy with some surreal lyrics, but that don't work, bud. That don't work. That's not enough. Because Dave Grohl could steal this song from you, fellas. He could steal this song from you and make a lot of money tomorrow. But as for track 1, this is not the greatest opener, but it's solid. It's like there's nothing bad about it, and I like that he screams. That actually is also the interesting thing about listening to it the other way, is that he gets more and more frantic as it goes on, and the way we're going to listen to it, he actually gets worn out because he's less screamy in the other songs. But yeah, track three would have been the right place for this. Track 1, it's kind of it's almost misleading, I think, where they're going to go from here.
So the next track is called Ned Beatty. This track musically is more of the same, but there's a lot more distinct MC5 influence thrown in there. This just sounds like when people reference MC5, they say they're influenced by them. This band sounds like they're actually influenced by MC5, so I'll give them that. That's what they're going for. So the lyrics, like all the lyrics are kind of, I guess, punky, for lack of a better term. They're not like about serious topics. They're kind of just, whatever the singer was thinking of. So the first verse addresses Ned Beatty, and it's like, I don't want to be like Ned Beatty. He does throw in the line, doing one film every 2 years maybe, which is, I guess, like kind of just a dunk on Ned Beatty for not being more busy. I don't know, but it's basically referencing Deliverance, and he doesn't want to be like Ned Beatty in Deliverance because he gets raped. Yeah. And the third verse mentions Gary Coleman, says I don't want to be Gary Coleman in the hobby shop, because that's where Gary Coleman almost gets raped. But the second verse, he mentions Suzanne Summers. He says, I don't want to be like Suzanne Summers. Silicone implants implode. What a bummer. Three's company. First off, I'm pretty positive Suzanne Summers was au naturel, so that's disrespectful. Yeah. Secondly, there's no, I'm kind of like a Three's Company historian. I don't remember any rape episodes of Three's Company, so no. I think that's like something the internet would bring up time and time again. So I don't know if she did like a TV movie, or is this fan fiction, or what. So it's kind of weird to me to just make up something for the second verse, but I respect it. I'm going to do some research after this and see what kind of weird TV movie Suzanne Summers was in where she was in danger of being R'd, but I don't personally remember any of them. But yeah, that's it. I like this song a little better. It's a little more audible, I guess, legible, and it's a little more familiar to me as a lifelong MC5 hater. I know, I at least know what they sound like, and so I get what they're going for with this song.
Yeah, I just look real quick, and I don't see anything online about Suzanne Summers being assaulted in any TV show. I would think that Jack Tripper would get the assault, because that's kind of
maybe that's what he just means, that he doesn't want to be like Suzanne Summers because she had to live with a creep like Jack Tripper and his even more creep friend Larry. So maybe that's what he meant.
And Don Knotts coming around trying to get them all to screw in front of him.
Yeah.
So this song is the big riff. There's actually kind of a riff on this, unlike the other songs, more just like chords, and this one's got that like kind of like a big bassy riff. A little bit of Thin Lizzy action in this song. I think it has a similar mission statement to the previous song, which is just to be very rocking. But they have the bass and guitar like riffing together with big energy, and that's how a band that's just pure treble, just pure feedback and screeching treble like these guys, that's how you stand out. The bassist actually plays really well on the song. I think he even wanders away from the guitar, which is kind of weird for a band like this, and he breaks out his inner jungle boogie. He's got the kind of like he's got the bass line going there, and he makes the song memorable. It wasn't going to be. This whole side is kind of more screech and roll than side A, like I said. So it's a little less intriguing to me. But it shows, to me, I'll bet that they were, let's talk about it. Which journey do you think they went on, Mike? Do you think that this was the new stuff that they wanted to show off, or do you think the more interesting stuff was the new stuff they want to show off?
I think this is the new stuff.
Yeah. So that sucks. They wanted to be like these kind of bonehead rockers and stuff.
I think the other stuff is a little too not crazy. I mean, it's still crazy, but I think these guys went on that peak where they were trying to get crazier and crazier.
Yeah. A little too cerebral. They had to get a little bit hard.
Okay, now we flip the side over, depending on which record you have. The next song will be Hell is Real, the title track.
Assess the damage.
So yeah, you can actually hear the riffs in this one, so that's cool. You can actually hear them. You don't have to like turn your stereo down as much as possible to hear them. Unfortunately, it's mostly just one riff over and over again, but it's still, you could hear it, and that's cool. At some point, there's some weird woos going on in this, and I can't tell if that's human or not. I can't tell if it's some weird like pedal or something, but you hear some barely audible woos, and it doesn't sound human, but it also doesn't sound like a guitar. So they might have some alien tech for this. I don't know. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they also get a woman to do the first line of Amazing Grace, but it's like it's thrown in there. It's not like on beat or anything. It's just like on top of it. So it just really sounds like somebody fucked up in the studio and just like overdubbed it by accident. And that Amazing Grace was meant for some other record that wasn't this. And there is no way of erasing it after they recorded it because it just makes no sense. And yeah, at why I think this should be the first track, and why on some records is the first track is because this has in it what I would consider a breakdown. And so I mean, I don't think they expected people to mosh or anything, but it does have kind of a breakdowny, moshy part, and I find that very cool. So this is easily my favorite track on the record. So this is I'm feeling like they released Pest Control first. And they're like, we fucked up. We got to put that song with a breakdown in first. So
they ain't ready for this.
Yeah, they ain't ready for this. They flipped it around to Hell's Real.
So yeah, this is more what I want to hear from a noise rock band. Like, you tell me if it's noise rock, which the internet did before I listened to this. I was like, okay, I know what I'm. It's like I spoilered myself. I came in expecting noise rocks, but so what makes a band like that work for me is when I think that the people involved have some skill, but don't necessarily know or care how music works. So they just kind of mess around, like the instruments are just tools. They just kind of mess with them and just like, do things and see what happens. And I think that's how you come up with a riff like this. It's got kind of a weird like stuttering, like it's got this kind of riff that I think you'd come up with if you were just noodling on, like, it's not something you write as music. It's like a phone doodle, but on your guitar. Like he was just sitting on the phone one day and just started picking on this thing, and you get this. So they get to a breakdown. The bassist gives up and just starts bashing his bass. And suddenly the mix has nearly unlimited low end. This is the first low end. It's like Miami bass all of a sudden. It's very shrill to this point. And then it's really, really big. I'm concerned that whoever is singing, he has to be playing an instrument because there's only 3 guys.
Yeah.
And I can't figure out how he's singing off time. Like that, it shouldn't be possible to blow the lines this way if you're playing the song with your hands. To not know where you are in the song with your mouth. That's something worth talking to somebody about. That's like possibly a breakdown in psychology that you need to talk to me about.
So the final track is called King Anus. Great title. This is, I think, an instrumental.
Yeah.
I usually don't respect instrumentals on recording, but as a 3-piece weirdo band, it's fine. This is, you kind of expect 3 weirdos to get together and do an instrumental. They all have to play instruments. It's fine if you take a break. But it does, if you listen real close, it does sound like somebody's singing somewhere. It just maybe without a mic. Yep. Which is a choice. And again, maybe that was an accident. Maybe this was meant not to be an instrumental, and they just forgot to plug in the microphone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead.
But otherwise, this is the type of noise rock I like. This sounds real menacing, even though it's mostly just one riff again. But it sounds real noisy, real menacing. Obviously, you could change a few parts about this, and this could just be a fucking Jesus Lizard song, or even a Today Is the Day song, or something like that. So even if that's not what they meant to go for, that's what it sounds like, and that's cool. They do some change ups at the end. It's if it had lyrics, this would be my favorite track. But this side is the winner. So if I don't know which way they went, I don't know if the version with this side as the first side came out first or vice versa. But this should be the first side, because this is the real winner side to me.
Yeah, this track is the kind of the giveaway that they have some skill and maybe know some things, because it's good. And the intro has an amazing sound. Like, whatever, I don't know what pedals they have on or whatever, but the main riff has this like really weird, almost like HM2 chorusy sound or whatever. And it's also like the riff is almost like the animated GIF of the ballerina spinning, where you can make it spin either way depending on how you look at it, because you really can't tell how this riff is supposed to go, because there's these sort of, it's not really that crazy, but there's kind of a post-hardcore waltz, like a down, and then there's like a, and it's kind of tough to keep on top of the count, so you can make the riff sound however you want. And like I said, it also sounds like the bassist or the guitarist has some odd pedals turned on that they don't turn on anywhere else in the record. It's kind of a shame. Like, it would be good elsewhere. It's a fun sound. I bet this was like a real showstopper. But just like you said, I could hear something vocally, and because I was listening to this in real time, I was expecting this to be Ned Beatty, because this is where Ned Beatty is marked on the record. Yeah. And I was like, when does the song start? When did they start singing all these lyrics? There's a lot of lyrics about Ned Beatty. Was this just like a Jane Doe, like a converged Jane Doe thing, where they just included lyrics they had in mind, but they didn't put it on the record? But I think this is a cool song. I bet this was awesome. Like, it's very rare. Like, a punky band doing an instrumental should be the stupidest idea on earth, but I think this one kind of rips, and I'll bet it worked.
And there you have it. There's Atomic Jefferson's Hell is Real / Pest Control 7-inch from 1993 on Sound Unsound Limited Records. At the end, I usually like to do a little rating system where I say either throw it in the trash, listen to it on streaming, buy it in the bargain bin, buy it for full price, or buy it for collector's prices. So overall, I think I've used this comparison on the show before, but this is what I consider WFMU music to me. Yeah. This is like the stuff, not anymore, but like 10, 15, God, even 20 years ago. This is the type of stuff like Tom Sharpling would play on The Best Show, and I would hear it, and I'd be like, I don't like this, but I don't hate it. Like, it's just music for a total subculture of humans I have never come in contact with, and to this day have still not really come in contact with. But I know there's people out there that listen to stuff like this regularly. Not me. I couldn't listen to more than 1 4-song 7-inch of this stuff back to back. Like, if you put on another band that sounded like this right after, I'd be so pissed off. Yeah. But as you know, a little capsule of it, it's fine. I think that the Hell is Real side is pretty good, and the other side is kind of not great. It's kind of a bummer, honestly. So and I do think they get a lot weirder as they go on in time. So that's cool. I respect that. Right now on Discogs, though, there are 0 copies for sale. And that is because I bought the last one, and I paid $4.99 for it, and I am currently the high price on Discogs, and that's like, being number 1 on Pac-Man, basically. I have the price to beat. You gotta pay more than $4.99 to beat me on this, and we'll see how that could go for 10 years. It could go for 10 months. We'll see, but I will check in every once in a while to see if I still have the high score on the Atomic Jefferson record. And,
it's going to be a documentary I'm going to make with you have your American tie. And
and then I'll have to find another copy and pay even more for it or something. So yeah, it's pretty crazy to a record that's been around for this long, over 30 years, and that the last one of these was sold almost exactly 2 years ago. I guess these are the only times they've been sold.
just like a Ned Beatty movie every 2 years.
Yeah. So I guess I don't know if these are rare. I just don't know if people are like, I don't need to put this on Discogs. But apparently it's a pretty hard record to come by. It's not an expensive record to come by, but it's pretty hard to come by. Personally, for me, this is a fine bargain bin record. I would never go out of your way to pick this up unless you are into noise rock that occasionally dips into MC5 territory, or Thin Lizzy or whatever you want to call it territory. This might be exactly your shit, and then I would seek it out as much as you can. But for me, it's a fine bargain bin 7-inch, and I'm glad I apparently own the last copy on Earth.
Yeah, so this is I'm guessing this is a fairly local record from '93 on a non-existent label. So I didn't expect much in the way of production, but this is very shrill. This is very hissy, shrill music, very noisy. And speaking of Today Is the Day, they had a write-up on one of the early 7-inches that said, I don't know why it was on there, but there was like a write-up on the record that said Steve Austin views music as a pain instrument.
Yeah.
And all those old records there reflect that with like real treble forward mix, like a really hiss forward assault in the early Today Is the Day mix. I think our boys today were not opposed to that. It seems like they wanted this to be a real lively assault on your senses. I don't know if they expected to be quite this shrill. Mike thinks so, I guess. But this mix will clean your teeth. This sounds like a dental drill. I don't think they worry about it. It comes up, but like I said, it comes off as lively. This sounds cool. Like this sounds like they just were bashing away, and they might even just straight up recorded this live. It sounds lively. The energy is off the scales. The screaming on this, especially by the end, depending on what you think is the end, is like dial 911. This guy's fucking dying in the studio. It's very graphic, it's very gnarly. I think you get 4 pretty distinct local noise rock songs, but all with like similar annihilating energy. There's nothing that they recorded separately at a buddy's studio that sounds different, or like a boombox thing like that takes the heat off a second. It's just a hose spraying harsh piss all over you in your bedroom, and hopefully you like the harsh piss. I'm not gonna take a side on that. If you like piss, that's your business. This is a cool record. It's rocking. Side A, depending, the more adventurous side is decent, and the more rocking side is fine as an addendum to that. I'll never listen to that rocking side again, because that's for AC/DC boring idiots. That's for idiots. So if you're an AC/DC boring idiot, or if you're like an AMREP guy, that's fine. But you also enjoy the helicopters or the hives because you're kind of stupid. This might be for you. Solid 8. I'll give it a solid 8 for you. I dug it. I had no problem with it. I'm only going to continue to get value out of side A at best. Don't need to hear the regular old noisy rock and roll songs twice in a lifetime. So for side A on its own, I'd go like 7. But also the fact that they're in Mississippi, where I don't expect a ton of rebellious, like weird ass trash rock like this. This is 7.5. They got the extra half a point for being in a weird spot.
Well, there you have it. There's Atomic Jefferson's Hell Is Real / Pest Control 7-inch from 1993 on Sound Unlimited, Sound on Sound Limited Records. Did pretty good. So I think we have 2 states left, I believe. Louisiana and either Arkansas and Alabama, because I get those mixed up. I think Alabama. I can't remember. Wherever Burned Up Bled Dry is from is where I guess we're going next. We'll be doing Burned Up Bled Dry next from one of the A states they're from. I think Arkansas, but I think they are the only band from there, and I think people actually like that band and they're known. It should be a better episode than this one, hopefully. And because we need the good episodes because we need to get paid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So hopefully the Burned Up Bled Dry will be more interesting to you. I'm kidding. I think this was an interesting episode. It's cool to hear these weirdo bands. Yeah. So I'm fine with it. But until then, Scott, do you have any last words?
Which bands do your Christian nationalist friends want to hear about? The ones that are going to be employed when the revolution really takes place, the ones who are still going to be able to legally earn money Should we do some 5-finger death punch? Should we do some Chevelle? Like, which way should we pivot?
What's that Crazy Fist band? 36 Crazy Fist. I think that's another cop rock band. Yeah, we got to get the super pack going. The first 7-inch club super pack. We could get up and running the $100 tier on. I guess we should aim for like $1,000 tier on Patreon, and then we'll get that money, and we won't even need to look for jobs anymore. We'll just have this job.
We'll be a literal patron, like like Medici. You'll be like old fucking world if you're paying us $1,000.
That's going to be great. That's it's going to be some good days coming up. We are going to be recording a Patreon right after this. So if you aren't a patron yet, you'll be hearing this. You could subscribe and then you'll hear it. For the actual patrons, you have already heard the Patreon episode. And you could tell the non-patrons how fucking great it was. Because that's all our A material is behind the paywall. This is all straight up C material. But the A material where we write scripts and we have ad reads and we have... We're sponsored by FanDuel. That's all behind the paywall. This is just our fucking around on the public feed. But no, either way, we'll talk to you next week. Fuck Charlie Daniels.
Fuck Charlie Daniels. Unless Charlie Daniels wants to pay us $1,000.
Yes. Maybe we should review. Maybe this should be going over Charlie Daniels' podcast.
The estate's willing to throw out some money. That's it.
Okay, bye.